Hey guys, Mario here. Right here I have two D5 NEXT pumps. They're not any different from a regular D5 pump. When it comes to the impeller side, they still function as a regular D5 pump. What makes them apart is the little plug-in part behind it. It has a built-in OLED display so it can tell you what's going on with the pump. Same with some RGB LEDs behind it. It has the option to connect it to a USB 2.0, but you will have to download Aquacomputer program to be able to control some of the features. You can control and connect a PWM fan, and it has a RGB PX plug that you can either connect it to other Aquacomputer products, or in my case I actually connected it to an addressable LED strip, and it's all powered by a SATA plug. One thing to keep in mind is that if your SATA cable is something like this, you're gonna have to bend the wires all the way to the back in order to kind of plug it in. Now if your SATA plug is something similar to this one, it's a lot easier to plug into the pump. Now what I'm gonna do is show you some of the functions that this pump is capable of doing. You should be able to see your pump and maybe other Aquacomputer products in here. If I go to the overview page and let's say I click on one pump, I can see the water temperature, the RPM, the flow. I have not set up the water flow because it requires you to have a valve in line to stop the flow or a soft tubing hose for you to kink it. So I have not been able to set up that. But the first thing that you want to do is click on your pump where it says D5 NEXT. Go to the settings, update the firmware on it to the latest one. If not, maybe sometimes some of the options you won't be able to control them. The other thing, in my case, I'm controlling an LED strip. So I click right here where it says RGB PX LED. I can actually turn the strip on and off right here, and you can actually adjust the brightness too. If you did something wrong, you can reset everything right here back to factory. When clicking on the pump option, you can see all the status of the pump, how it's running at the RPM, voltage, all that. On mode, we can put it on preset. We can run it from any number that you want, from 0 to 100. You can name your pump right here at the bottom. On the temperatures, the same thing. You can set up what kind of temperature you want it to run, what kind of RPM. On curve control, you can either set it up manually, which you kind set each point where you actually want it, or you can control it automatically, and at the same time it gives you some flexibility of where you want these points to be. Was the minimum temperature, was the maximum, at what RPM and what power. And flow, the same thing. You can set up how many, I guess, liters per hour you want it to run, but you will have to probably set up the flow control. On the fan, we'll have the same thing. It will tell you how is the fan running, RPM, voltage, all that. You can set up on 3 different modes: curve, temperature, and like I said, power preset, what type of power output you want. If we go to the sensors, it actually has a built-in water sensor. The water flow, like I said, I have not set it up. And these other sensors, I'm not too sure how they can be activated. If we go to the alarms, you can set up different alarms. If the pump, the flow rate stops, it will actually beep. The temperatures rises maybe too high, it will maybe tell you what's going on. On the display, you can set up right here the brightness, how you actually want the screen to face, either this way or the other way. Right here is different charts that you can actually try to maybe set up on your own. You can tell what you want to actually see. I just actually click it right here. I unclick all these other screens. I just wanted to see RPM and water temperature. The RGBPX has a lot of functions. First, right here we can set up, it has a lot of multiple LED sequence where we can have a rainbow, blinking, wave. There is either options right here to have them with sensor control, so depending on your temperature, ambient, depending on your background or your display, the LEDs will light up. The way I wanted it is this pump over here at the bottom. I wanted it to be white. I can put it right here. You can choose what color you want and what brightness. Now right here where it says RGB strip, right now I have that rainbow going on, but you can actually control 4 different type of lightings in just one strip. This pump can actually control up to 64 LEDs. If I move this little thing to, let's say, maybe 30 LEDs, we can see now that only 30 LEDs are in rainbow. I can put from, let's say, 31 all the way to the end. We can put, let's choose blinking. So now I have blinking on one half and RGB on the other half. The blinking, you can change the colors. Right here there is other options, the speed, or we can set it up even smaller, the blinking only from 31 to 40, and from 41 to all the way to 60 we can set up another, let's choose maybe rain. So now we have 3 different type of lighting effects going on in one LED strip, and you can have up to 4, and like I say, you can control the LED strips the way you wanted it. There was only one thing I didn't like about this pump, that the minimum RPM is actually 2000, while comparing it to other pumps that is actually 1400. Now if Aquacomputers can fix this through software on a later update, it will make a perfect pump for me. Now if you're gonna be running your pump at higher RPM to try to keep all your components cool, then that's not gonna be an issue for you. Overall, I really like what Aquacomputers have actually made here, and being the first of its kind. And it will be nice to see what other brands can actually evolve and maybe trying to make something similar. So I'm gonna wrap up this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.